My name is Clint, and this is Ashtanga Yoga. And we have, what's your name again? Karen. Carol. Okay, Carol, and you are
Candy.
Candy. And then you're also new, aren't you?
When I went to your.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, and when? You're new too.
Yes.
Karen. Okay. So I will call all of you Karen, and you're new too. Wow. Hi, Karen. Welcome. Just a reminder on Ashtanga, it's exactly the same with any other yoga class. You do what you can. You listen to your breath. You let your breath guide you. If you have to breathe through your mouth, that means that you need more oxygen. The only way you're going to get more oxygen is to slow it down. So listen to your breath. Take a break. Don't be a man and tough it out. We men are pretty good creatures, but we are pretty mentally shot sometimes when it comes to what we're thought of. So anyway, let's start by standing up. We're going to start with a little bit of stretching as usual. Then we're going to do the Namaskara A's the way that we normally do it. And I was explaining before, I'm going to modify, we're not going to go straight from the A's to the B's because I have my grandkids here and I didn't do an intermediate, class during the week. So I'm not sure I can do the four Namaskara B's. So anyway, we'll do a standing series that will allow everybody to catch their breath. And then we'll go into the Namaskara B's and then the standard fare. So come to the top of your mat. Get your feet about hip width apart. Hip width is put two fists together, and those two fists should go in between your arches. So I find many women think their hips are really wide. But anyway, so from here, stand up tall. Isometrically, drag your feet toward each other. That will engage all the muscles of your legs. Now take your upper inner thighs, rotate them towards the back. And in the space you just created, tuck your tailbone under by tilting your pelvis back. That'll straighten up your spine. Lift your chest high, gaze out at that horizon, and push the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Inhale, bring your shoulders up towards your ears, rotate them down and back, and just observe how your hands fold forward. Everyone's bones are different. If you're following Ashtanga as an aesthete, your hands will be flat on your pelvis, side of your pelvis. Allow your eyes to close if you're stable. And breathe in and out through your nose. And then begin to engage your mula bandhas, your pelvic floor muscles, your Kegel muscles. And you're beginning to build some heat. And then add your Uddiyana bandhas. Those are your lower abdomen muscles, halfway between your pubis and your navel. And notice how that affects your lungs. You have to breathe more into the sides of your ribs. And maybe you can feel the heat now. And then engage your Jalalahara Bandha. That's the glottis in the back of your throat. Begin to close that off so that your breath has some sound. Check out your stance. You want all these muscles to be engaged. You're building the heat that you need for the class. The heat will make your muscles more supple, give you more flexibility. And if we stay here for another minute, it could all be broken out into a sweat. We're going to do something easier. On your next inhale, bring your hands out to the side, up overhead, gaze up as your palms come together. And then exhale, let your arms float out and down by your sides. Inhale, stretch out overhead. Again, really stretch. And then exhale down by your side. Inhale out and up. And this time, as you exhale, swan dive forward. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. Bring your hands and your fingers down towards the mat. And then spend the next 5 breaths straightening your legs, stretching your hamstrings, little by little. With each inhale, maybe you can stretch a little bit longer, and each exhale, fold a little bit more. On your next inhale, come up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. You can grab onto your ankles if you wish and draw your chest closer to your thighs. And then inhale, using your thighs, lift up, hands up overhead, palms together. Then lower your hands to Samasthiti and then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Spend another 5 breaths here. You can walk this out, straightening one leg and then the other. And on your next inhale, lift up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Inhale, your arms overhead. Pause here, grab your left wrist with your right hand. Bring your weight into your left foot. And side bend to the right. And remove weight from that right foot so that at most all it's doing is keeping your balance. Push that left hip way out. Keep your arms in line with your ears. This is a side bend, not a twist. And on your next inhale, come all the way back up. Switch hands and then switch your side bend. You can gaze up at the eye of your elbow. Inhale all the way back up. Float your arms out and down and swan dive forward. Leave your right hand on the mat. On the inhale, take your left arm out and up into a twist. See if you can get your shoulder blades vertical. twist in yoga is defined by your pelvis and your shoulders being at different angles. On your next exhale, left arm down, right arm up. You can always straighten that right leg more than the left. And 5, lower that right hand back down, gaze at your knees. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, palms together. And then Samastitihi and Tadasana. Okay, now we start the warm-up. We're going to do 4 Namaskara A's. We're going to start the first Namaskara, or pause the first Namaskara in plank for about 10 breaths. Don't worry, you can always put your knees down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and pause here. And breathe deeply. Draw your upper arms towards each other. Try isometrically rotating your hands towards each other. You discover that your shoulder blades are much stiffer. This wakes up your shoulders, really gets the blood flowing so that your vinyasas become much easier. I can hear each one of you saying, yeah, right. And since I can never count, on your next exhale, lower down, come forward all the way down onto your belly. Put your toenails down. Inhale, push the floor away, come up into cobra. And then curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And walk out your dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we'll do 3 in a row without pause. Take a break if you need to. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come forward and down halfway. Inhale to up dog. And exhale, down dog for 5 breaths. Slow down your breathing. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale up dog. Exhale, down dog. Try dropping your chest between your shoulders. Maybe press your heels down a little bit more. And if your heels are on the mat, lengthen out your stance. And 5. On an exhale, hop, step, or jump. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. And inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And again, you can walk out your dog. Try drawing the eyes of your elbows towards each other. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or flip to forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. That was 2, right? Ha. Okay, so this is the standing series that I'm going to interject. So on your next inhale, take a giant step back with your right foot. With your right foot facing the back. We're coming into a warrior 1, so bend that right knee. Inhale those arms up for 5 breaths. Try to sink those hips a little deeper. And 5. On your next inhale, straighten that front leg. Make adjustments coming into warrior 2. And sink back down. Check out your hand positions to make sure that they're roughly level with the earth. Now to lower your shoulders, rotate your palms up. You'll feel that your shoulder blades have been lowered. Now flip your hands over too quickly so your shoulder blades stay way down. And 5. On your next inhale, we're going to stay here in a warrior, but it's reverse warrior. So raise that right arm up. You can bring that left arm behind your back or down your left leg. Gaze up. Hit your hand, keeping that right knee bent. Work hard to keep that right knee from coming in. And 5. On an inhale, come back to warrior 2. Inhale, straighten out that front leg. Step the left foot in a little bit closer. We're going to do a waterfall here. So take your arms out wide, bring your hands behind your back, push your knuckles down, and exhale, forward fold, stretching your right hamstring. Draw that right hip back. That will intensify this stretch, which you need for these vinyasas. Try lifting your arms up, your knuckles up. And 5, release your arms all the way down. Come back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. And then bend that front knee, coming into warrior 1. Get your stance right for you. That right foot is out at an angle. Maybe you have a lot of distance left to right on your mat because of the way that your legs come into your pelvis. And 5, on an inhale, straighten that right leg. And transition to warrior 2. In Ashtanga, there are no resting poses except when you opt to take a break. So you should be reaching really hard with both fingertips towards the far walls. And 5, on your inhale, left arm up, right arm down into reverse warrior. And 5, inhale, come back to center, straighten that right knee, left knee rather, make an adjustment, preparing to do waterfall on the left leg in front. Arms out to the side, bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers the opposite direction, the way that doesn't feel quite right. Push your knuckles down, lift your chest up, and then forward fold over that right knee. Lifting your knuckles, drawing that left hip back. And 5, release your arms, let them float down. Come all the way back up to warrior 1. Look forward, step forward into Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we're going to do 2 Namaskar Bs. So we'll see if I forget one of the Utkatasana. So to start, on your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up for 5 breaths. Tuck your tailbone under, making your spine longer. Reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. And then on your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale. Lift your hips up and back into down dog. Turn the left foot out. Step the right foot forward. Coming into warrior 1. Exhale, hands right back down. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left comes forward. Inhale, up to warrior 1. Exhale, right back down. Step back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And I lied about the resting. We can rest here in down dog. Slow down your breath. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up into Utkatasana. And continue rising all the way up. And exhale your hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Okay, yeah, one more of those. And now, if you were a group of 20 and 30-year-olds, I wouldn't be teaching 5 Nam A's and 5 Nam B's because I can't do 5. So we're going to do another Nam B, and then we'll get into the real standing stairs. So on your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up to warrior 1, or to warrior 1, to Utkatasana. Lengthen your spine. Just try tipping your pelvis back. Lengthen your spine. On your fifth exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come forward and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot out. Right foot comes forward. Inhale, your arms up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, forward, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, up to warrior one. Exhale, hands right back down. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest. On your next inhale or exhale, look forward. Step forward. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. Drop your seat on the inhale. Raise your arms to Uttanasana. Rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Exhale, Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we go to the standard standing series. So from Tadasana, look down at your feet. Hop your feet, mat width apart. Inhale, your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Grab onto your big toes. This is Padmasana. Inhale, come up halfway. Maybe you can get to see the horizon, maybe not. Exhale, forward fold. Using your arms, draw the crown of your head down towards the mat as you straighten your legs. And 5. On your exhale, release, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. That straightens your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. Okay, now we have Hasta. Anyway, hands under your palms underneath your soul. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Place your palms underneath the soles of your feet. Maybe your toes can come all the way up to your your wrist crease. Inhale, come up as far as you can. And then exhale, forward fold. Draw the crown of your head down. Lift your hips up, stretching your hamstrings, but most importantly, you're giving some relief to your wrists, your forearms, and your shoulders from those vinyasas. You're also stretching your spine. In 5, release your bind. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to heart center, and then Tadasana. Look down, hop your feet back, hip width apart, and you have another option of doing a vinyasa. This is just a regular sun salutation. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Really enjoy this one. And 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float into forward fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Okay, so now we go to triangle. On your next inhale, take a giant step back with your right leg towards the back of your mat. Both legs straight, arms into T. From here, drop that front hip down, the right hip down, the left hip up. And then on an exhale, lower that right arm down on the inside of that right leg. Doesn't matter where you go. You could be on your knee, your thigh, your ankle, or if you're extra flexible, maybe you can get all the way down to your big toe, but tuck that right butt cheek under. That will get your shoulder blades vertical. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. We'll do the same thing on this side. Drop the front hip, raise the back, and then tip your triangle. If you have a shoulder issue, you can always leave that hand on your hip, or maybe bring that arm behind your back. In 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet again towards the back of the mat. Maybe separate your feet a little bit more. You may bring your right left toes towards the back of the mat. Look towards the back of the mat in T, then rotate towards the right. This is going to be a revolve triangle. So again, begin to forward fold. The left arm comes on the outside of the right leg. That right arm can be up, or it can be on your hip, or it can be behind your back. But again, you're trying to get your shoulders vertical, which in this pose is really challenging. Let it right hip back, straighten that leg. In 5, inhale, windmill all the way back up. Rotate your feet, adjust your foot locations. Turn towards the front of the mat, then rotate your chest towards the left. From here, exhale down. Notice how different this side may be. And 5, inhale. Windmill your arms all the way back up into T. Turn your chest towards the front of the mat. Step forward into Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Have another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. You can walk this out. You can rest. You can stretch your hamstrings some more. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. Okay, now we have side angle. So on your next inhale, giant step back with your right leg. Again, bend that right knee. Come into warrior 2. Now, bend your right elbow Bring your right forearm to the center of your right thigh. Lean back, reaching your left hand towards the ceiling wall intersection beyond your front foot. Gaze up towards the eye of your elbow. Lean back, fall back. Use that forearm on your thigh to come back a little bit farther. 5, inhale, rise back up. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. We'll do the same thing on the left. So bend that front knee, bend the elbow, bring it down onto the center of your thigh. Rotate that right arm up overhead, reaching for the far wall. You can adjust your foot locations. They might be different on this side, but make sure you don't have too much weight on that thigh. Maybe you want to just lift it up just to see how much you have. 4, 5, inhale, straighten that right leg, back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. We're going to do a prayer twist here. So rotate your arms and your T towards the back of the mat. From here, you can adjust your foot location. Your toes can all be facing towards the back. Bring your hands to heart center. Rotate your chest to the right. And then on an exhale, forward fold, catching your right knee with your left elbow. And then use that elbow to help get your shoulder blades vertical. Don't want to be looking at your mat. You want to be looking at the far wall. 4 and 5. Release your bind. Straighten that leg. Bring your arms out into T. Rotate towards the front of the mat. Adjust your foot locations again. Bend that front knee. Bring your hands to heart center. And then twist to the left. Coming into prayer twist. And 5, release. Inhale, straighten out your legs, look forward, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Okay, so we come to another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Try tucking your tailbone under while you're in down dog. That lengthens your spine. Then look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, the next series is Prasarita, A, B, C, and D. So, on your next inhale, giant step back with your right foot, but face the side of your mat. Now, your legs don't have to be the maximum distance apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest high. You can gaze up or straight ahead, depending on your neck. And then on an exhale, begin to forward fold. You can bring your hands to the mat whenever you think it's necessary. You can make adjustments to your foot locations, make them wider or narrower. This is a groin opener and a hip opener. Your femurs are really being spread wide apart in your hip side. And 5, listen carefully. Bring your hands to your hips. On your inhale, use your arms and thighs to rise all the way back up. Move your hands towards the back of your pelvis. Your thumbs pointing toward each other, and try to get your elbows together. Which, if anybody can do that, I want to see it. Inhale, tall, and then exhale, forward fold, and keep drawing your elbows toward each other as you bring the crown of your head down towards the mat. Your legs should be straightish, knowing that if you have tight hamstrings, they may never be straight. And 5, on your next inhale, use your elbows to help draw your chest all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T. Bring your thumbs pointing down. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your knuckles away, lifting your chest high. And then on an exhale, forward fold. Again, the crown of your head down. Your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Knowing that you'll never reach either. Well, you may reach the floor. And 5, inhale, use your hands to help draw you all the way back up. Bring your arms back out into T. This is Prasarita D. Inhale your chest high. Exhale, forward fold. Your arms will come down onto your legs, maybe onto your big toes, where they can be used to draw the crown of your head down farther. And 5, release. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Hands to your hips. From here, you can either heel toe your feet together or just hop your feet together. Turn towards the front, step forward, and come to Tadasana. Okay, we have another vinyasa. And remember, this is just to maintain your heat. So if you want to take an option and not do it, stay in Tadasana, go right ahead. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Four. And 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Okay, so I'm going to do the Tita Hasta Padmasana, or Tita Padmasana at all. So we've done this the last few weeks. So bring your hips, your feet hip width apart, lift your toes and place them back down, but with your toes spread wide. That extra 1/4 inch width will really help with balance. Bring your weight into your left foot, bend your right knee, bring that right foot up, maybe grab onto the big toe with your peace fingers, and then straighten-ish it out towards the front of the room. Left arm just keeps you upright. And don't worry, this is only practice, so if you fall out, you don't get any black marks. And 5, maybe you can just swing that leg out to the side from standing, or if you can't, maybe you just draw that right knee up towards your right armpit. And 5, release. Step that down. We're going to stay on this side today. Come back to Tadasana. Lift your toes, spread them and back down. Bring all the weight into your left foot. And then lift that right foot up 1 inch. Inhale. Keep that right leg straight as you lift the sole of your foot up onto that far wall. Notice the work that your left leg is doing. And 5. Now from here, maybe you can come directly into tree pose, or maybe you have to put that foot back down to ground yourself. And know that every day is different. You may have done this before class today and you were kneeling it. In 5, release. Step down, step that out. Back to Tadasana. Lift and separate those toes. On your inhale, bend your left knee, bring your left toes up, grab them with your left peace fingers, and straightenish that leg out. Straighten your spine. It will make this easier. You'll be able to lift that leg farther and straighter. 5. Now maybe you can bring this leg out to the side. Maybe not. You'll never know unless you try it. And 5, release. Step that out. Back to Tadasana. Lift and spread your toes, weight into your right foot. Lift that left foot 1 inch. Then come up, stepping on the front wall. Maybe to make this challenging pose easy, just spread your toes on your left foot. In 5, from here, come into tree pose. Maybe this side will be different. Just don't put your foot over your knee. It can be above or below. And 5, release. Step that out. Maybe make some circles with your hips, like you're doing a hula hoop with your kids. And then come back to center. Okay, this is the last standing vinyasa. So from here, I'll meet you in Dandasana. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Rest here. Walking out your dog after the Padmasana is really enjoyable. So try that. And 5, from here, to get to seated, you can jump through. You can just bring your knees down. Come onto your seat. Bring your feet forward in a seated position. From here, your toes are up towards the ceiling. If you always do this with your feet touching, just try bringing your feet apart hip width. You may find it easier. Bring your hands next to your hips, lift your chest high. And if your hands don't touch, just move your hands a little bit behind your hips. Now there should be weight on your arms. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from here we're going to do not Prasarita, Padmasana, anyway, bring your feet closer together. Inhale your chest high. And exhale, forward fold, reaching for your toes. This is Padmasana A. This is a hamstring stretch and a back stretch. So draw your hips back a little bit. Try mooning the person behind you. But mostly use the strength in your arms to draw your collarbones towards your feet. On your next exhale, release. Come all the way back up. And then exhale right away, back down. Maybe make a bind across the bottoms of your feet, or just grab the outsides of your feet. And same thing, draw your collarbones towards your feet. Again, it's your spine and your hamstrings. And 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Okay, bunch of new people, so I'm going to show, and those of you who want to do a bump up, if you cross your ankles, bring your heels in really close to your sit bones. Bring your knees up high, and if your arms are long enough, which mine aren't, you can bump up off of the mat. I'm going to use a couple of blocks. And so on an inhale, you bump up, and then you kick your feet back out. Now, the real vinyasa is you lift up, you rotate your body, kick your feet back into a plank, and do a vinyasa. And after you're down dog, you jump your feet right back through. I could do that last year, but I got too old. Okay, now we're going to do Janu Sirsasana. So legs out straight, bend your right knee, bring your right footprint into your left inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Exhale, reach for your toes on your left foot. And again, draw your collarbones towards that foot. You may be able to get into your hamstring a little bit better. But notice what's happening to that right hip. It's opening up more as that right knee goes down towards the mat. In 5, release. Inhale all the way back up. And on your exhale, forward fold. Make a bind across the bottom of your foot. And same motion. Draw the crown of your head towards the far wall. Your gaze is down at your knee. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. Now a modification that is not in the Ashtanga books. This is actually a standing pose, but lift your right foot up. And you want to get your right heel into your left hip crease. This will open up that right hip a little bit more for Lotus Pose, should you decide to do it. Now, if your knee hurts, don't do this. You can put a block under that if you wish. But anyway, inhale tall and exhale forward fold, reaching for that left leg. And be acutely aware of any sensation in that knee. You don't want any kind of pain or negative sensation. And 5, release, come all the way up, right leg out to meet the left. Bend your left knee, left footprint onto the right inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Exhale, Reach for your toes. Drawing your collarbones towards that foot, crown of your head towards the far wall. Your gaze is down, not at your foot. If your gaze is at your foot, you can hurt your tiny cervical spine, your neck. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale all the way back down. Make a bind across the bottom. Notice how different this asymmetric pose is, how much farther you can get. Maybe push that right hip back farther. And release, inhale, sit all the way back up. This time, grab your right foot, your right heel over towards your left hip crease. And this knee is different than the other. You may have different sensations. Listen to your body. Inhale, spine tall. Exhale, forward fold. And your body has a different history on each side. So don't be concerned if one side you're much more flexible or much stronger. You've worked years to make that happen. In 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Left foot out to meet the right. Push your heels away, stretching your hamstrings. Cross your ankles, bring your heels in really close again. Lift your knees up really close. You want to try to get your center of gravity really close. Inhale, lift up. And keep your feet back out. Bring your footprints onto the mat. Bring your hands behind your hips. Tuck your tailbone under. And on an inhale, lift your hips up into reverse table. Draw your heels towards your hands. Draw your knees towards the far wall. And lift your pelvis higher. And 5, release. Come all the way back down. Okay, legs all the way out again. Okay, we're going to do Marichi. So we're going to do it in a slight different sequence today. But bend your right knee, bring your right heel up close to your right sit bone. This first Marichi is a forward fold. So from here, the object is maybe getting your shoulder in front of this right knee. And on this side, it's more than a dream. But from here, sit upright. You can grab onto that right foot. You can grab onto the left foot with your left hand. And if you can get your shoulder in front, then you can put your upper arm in front. Inhale high and exhale forward fold. Keep your sit bones on the mat. This is opening up not only your hips, but also your shoulders, lengthening your spine. Everything that we've done so far has been for this. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Okay, stay in this position, but bend your left knee and bring your left heel right at your right sit bone, and then return your right heel in front. We'll do the same forward fold. Inhale tall, and then forward fold. Maybe you can get that arm in front, that right arm in front, maybe not. You can bring that left arm behind your back and reach for that phantom right hand that is all the way around your right ankle. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, straighten out that left leg, out to the front. Inhale your spine tall, grab onto that right knee with your left hand, right hand behind you as a kickstand. Inhale chest high and then twist to the right. If that left arm comes over the top of that right thigh, that's great. If not, that's fine. But get your spine tall. That's what gives you more twist. And then on your exhale, release. Bend that left knee again. Bring that left heel back to your right sit bone. We'll do the same thing. Inhale tall, right hand behind your hips. Inhale and twist to the right. And exhale, release, come back to center. Both legs out in front. Bend your left knee, left heel up towards your left sit bones. This is the Marichi A. So this is a forward fold, straight ahead. Inhale tall, exhale forward fold. Right arm reaches for your right toes. Try to get your sit bones to stay on the mat. They may not want to comply. In 5, release. Inhale, sit up. Bring that right heel into your left sit bone. Inhale tall again and exhale. Maybe this time you can get that left arm behind. Maybe you can make a bind across behind your back. Reach the crown of your head towards the far wall. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. Right leg comes all the way out towards the front of the mat again. Left hand comes behind your hips. Right arm on your left knee. Inhale, spine tall. And exhale, twist to the left. Maybe that right arm can come over the top of that left thigh. Push the heel of your right foot away. And 5, release. This time bend that right knee, bring your right heel to your left sit bone. Inhale up, and then see if you can twist any more. Maybe you can get that right arm all the way in front of that left calf or left shin. In 5, release. Come back to center. Stretch your legs out in front. For another bump up, if you wish, bring your heels in, your knees high. Inhale, bump up. And then kick your feet up. Okay, I think we better go into Vada Konasana. So bring the soles of your feet together. And in a reasonably close distance to your groins. Grab onto your toes with both hands. Inhale your spine tall. And on an exhale, forward fold. And draw your collarbones towards the front of your mat and the crown of your head towards the far wall. You should really be feeling this in your groins. You should be hearing your breath and using your bandhas. and 5. Inhale, come all the way back up. Move your feet out a comfortable distance. Now you can bring your forearms underneath your shins if you want. You can grab onto your feet if you want. But inhale your spine tall, and on an exhale, forward fold. And again, getting your chin onto your feet is not the goal. Getting your collarbones to the front of your mat is the goal. Getting your crown of your head towards the far wall is your goal. That will lengthen your spine. In 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Okay, we have one more bump. This is the last bump if you want to do it. And then the next pose is Lotus, or your version of it. So on an inhale, bump up. Bring your feet out. Okay, now Lotus can be done with either foot coming to your hip crease. And if you just sit in Sukhasana, that is perfectly acceptable. There is no magic, there are no extra points. There will be at the yoga finals sometime next year. But anyway, so if you want to try the Lotus Pose or Padmasana, what you can do is you lift up your heel, and I'm only going to do this on one side today, but choose the side that you think might be better, but it doesn't matter. And bring that heel into your hip crease. You can always use a towel or a block or something to support that knee. And then, if that's all the farther you go, and you can bend this other knee, this is great. This will open up that right hip a lot. But if you're sufficiently warmed up, maybe you can lift that other heel up and draw it over that shin towards your other hip crease. Now the real Padmasana, my arm would come around behind me and grab my toes on both hands, both feet. So anyway, for me, that's just plain silly. But we're going to do a version of that. And it's called Yoga Mudra. So from here, bring your arms out wide. Bring your hands behind your back. If you can make a mudra, Anjali Mudra behind your back, you can. I don't have a prayer of doing that. I'm just going to grab opposite forearms because that's all I can grab. But lift your spine tall. Close your eyes. And for the next 10 breaths, follow your body and how it feels as you slowly begin to forward fold. Bringing your chest towards the mat, the crown of your head towards the far wall, collarbones towards the front of the mat. See if you can feel the muscle fibers picking up extra tension the farther you go, and some muscle fibers are going to be releasing. Just stay inside your body. Seven. 9. 10. Take about 3 breaths to get all the way back up. There's no rush. This time, straighten out your arms. Bring the backs of your hands on top of your knees. You can make a mudra if you wish, although that's not necessary. If one of your knees is high, just put a towel or something underneath so that you're supported by earth. Stretch the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Touch your chin a little bit. Now you can bow your head if you wish, or gaze off at that horizon through your eyelids. We'll be here for 10 more breaths, so take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Release it through your nose. Begin to deepen your breath. Open your eyes. Use both hands to free up your legs towards the front of the mat. Notice the heat in your feet compared to your legs and your hands. Push your heels out. And nice stretch, maybe rotate your feet from one side to the other. That will turn your femurs and your pelvis, giving some well-earned relief to your hip sockets. And then come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling, and then let them rotate down towards the wall beyond your head, and stretch from your heels to your palms, from your manicure to your pedicure. Then allow your arms to come back by your side or out from your side, getting ready for Shavasana. Coming into Shavasana, you can spread your legs a comfortable distance apart. Roll your knees. Rock your hips, finding the perfect spot for your sacrum to rest. Stretch your neck long. Then lift your head 1 inch, tuck your chin, and place your head gently back down. Just let your feet fall wherever they are. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Take another breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. And take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes. To your wrist and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And rock from left to right. Stretching your hips away so that you can stretch all the way from your hips to your shoulders. And the next time you come over towards your right side, pause there for just a moment in fetal pose using your right arm as a pillow and do a body scan to detect any tension or stress that still may be hiding in some of your muscles so that you can address it later today or later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away. Rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your Ashtanga practice with me this morning. It is a pleasure to sweat with each one of you. And as I've said so many times, you are indeed a motivation for me to teach and to get up early on Monday morning to start the week off in the best possible manner. Share your compassion and your empathy and the peace that you practice on your mat with everybody you meet, your family and your friends. Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thanks for coming.